All right, welcome back to Tifosi Time. This is episode 6. For those of you guys that are new, this is going to soon become your new favorite podcast when it comes to all things Juventus and Serie A and Calcio. If just to give you an idea of what you're in store for, this is now take number 2, and all we try to do is record the intro before this. So buckle up because you never know what's going to happen. There may be audio. There might not be audio. I don't really know.
I think it's pronounced calcio.
Calcio, huh? Yeah, it's like calcium. It's cool.
That's the kind of info you'll get from here.
Yeah, so I'm Frank. If you guys are into Serie A and Juventus, then hit that subscription button, that bell icon. You do not want to miss this. We are pretty much going every week on Mondays. And this is Dan and Chris. Say hello, guys.
Hey. Hi. So just a heads up, our producer did not want to use a new logo that I slaved away on yesterday. You will get a tease of it on some other slides that I also slaved away on. But I blame our producer.
For those of you guys out there watching, this is your first episode, you may think the quality is really bad, but I defy you to go back to episode 1 and just see how far we've come.
Very true.
All right. So what do you want to talk about? The Jets?
Oh, first, that Twitter right there. I want to talk about that Twitter. Tweeting like a storm this week. I don't know if you guys seen, but just throwing
I still haven't followed.
Oh, Christ.
I heard you actually got a like from someone we don't know.
Let me tell you, what a rush that was. When a random person likes one of your tweets, holy crap. That was awesome.
Was it like a gimmick? Did you like tweet a hot girl or something?
No, I think I made fun of Conte in the tweet. I said I want to hear his excuses on the press conference afterwards, and someone gave it a like. So.
Oh, see, if I followed the account, I would have liked that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm still
on the fence. I'm still on the fence. We'll see if I can follow. Yeah.
Probably Uncle Santa.
All right, so let's get into it, guys. There was a whole lot of stuff. Like, soon as we finished our show last Monday, where we were like struggling what to talk to after the international break, there was like a million things that kept happening, and we were like, as always, our timing is impeccable. So we have a stacked show of what we can talk about. So, but I suggest we start off with the best result of the weekend, which is Inter AC Milan, baby. Inter losing 2-1, and I believe I predicted the score as well.
It's a better result than if Juventus would have won, honestly.
Look at this. By the way, look at this graphic, guys. Go back to episode 1. Look at this. ESPN, eat your heart out.
I mean, guys, it probably took me over 2 hours to do this because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But man, look at that logo. Woo.
That's hot. I'm not gonna lie. We should probably stop on a high end right now and just end it. Come back next week.
So anyway, let's start talking about the game. I'll let you guys go first since I talk a lot, and then I'll go.
Chris, you could hit it up. Go ahead.
I don't know. Ibra's legit. He makes that team so much better. Like he just, I don't know. They play different when he's on the field, right? And the result, I think I predicted a tie, but I was so happy about the result. Lukaku, put one in for Inter. I don't know. Was it Kolarov? He's terrible. He's not good. He should not be there. I don't know. He's giveaways. He's not good defensively. But Milan they played well. I'm rooting for him. And Tonali's not even seeing the field yet. That's the best part.
Yeah, for me, I mean, look, we already know. I think, Dan, you put the little footnote. I didn't see anything that Conte said after the game because, I don't really care. But, the 6 players out due to COVID, I'm sure he used that as a bit of an excuse, right? But, at the end of the day, the main thing I like about this is that, before the season started, I said how much I really liked, and I think you guys all agreed what AC Milan was doing to build their team, going young, their strategy when it comes to the transfer market. A lot of players that they did get were players that I wanted Juventus to get, namely Tonali was one of them. And I am so happy that they beat Inter. It's amazing. And you know what? That's going to give that group, for a younger group of people, belief for sure, because they're off to such a great start at the beginning of the season. And, for Inter, I mean, again, this same old Inter. I mean, that's all I have to say. Like, beat up on a couple teams, lose a couple games, whine the whole time. I mean, I don't really have anything specific to say except it's true when Ibra's on the field, it's like he gives everybody the other 10 on his team a belief that they're going to win, right?
Also,
and he backs it up.
So he gives that death stare too to the players, like the people on his team, and it's just like, dude, I love it. It's he expects more from them, which is great.
So I have one thing to say about Ibra. Besides Papu Gomez, he's the most valuable player in the league as far as what he means to his team. Those two guys, you take them off those teams suck. I'm telling you straight up, those teams are not the same. Yes, those teams are not the same without those two guys.
Yeah, they're important, but I still think Atalanta's still going to be a good team.
No, I would agree. I would agree there with Dan because they're going to be good teams. They have good players besides those two, but some guys are just not only the glue, but they're the proof in the pudding, right? When the stuff gets tough, they're the ones who show up. And Papu Gomez for sure, right? I think he's just kind of come to his own here late in his career. But I mean, Ibrahimović, I mean, you could put like 10, 20-year-olds on there. He's gonna basically will you to at least step up and give it a fight, right? Play above your head. I don't know why. I mean, he's just got that aura about him, and he seems to. It's not just him, right? The team played well, but he does seem to do that wherever he goes. So.
Yeah. So and now going to Inter, because I got a lot to say about Inter, because you guys have been bashing them more than me this season. Because I try to stay a little bit neutral. We're all
get on the bus. Get on the bus.
We're all Juventus fans, but I don't like to just throw all that on Inter all the time. But starting with their lineup, Conte's refusal to move away from the back three when you have Bastoni out and you have Skriniar out. And you have you're stuck with Kolarov and you're stuck with D'Ambrosio in the back with De Vrij. That was a recipe for disaster from the beginning. Kolarov can't defend. He's not as fast as Ibra. He's not as strong as Ibra. He was just getting killed on that side, and he was the result of the 2 goals. Was basically his fault. I like what he did with Barella, actually putting him more advanced. I think Barella should be playing more advanced. But the problem with that is they signed Eriksen, and it was just a waste of a signing because he's got no spot on the team, and their midfield stacked. So what I'm trying to say is Conte, with all these signings that they have, like I feel like they just signed with kind of no plan with where they're going to put these people. Like why are you buying Kolarov? Why are you buying Eriksen? Why are you doing these moves?
Yeah, I can say that's it about Juventus. They do the same stuff.
I'm not saying that's different, but it's
no, but it's true. I mean, this was a criticism of Conte for sure. I mean, he's the reason they didn't get Tonali, right? Let's face it, because he wanted Vidal. We talked about this. He wanted people that are more willing to. They're ready to win now, right? Like he doesn't care if he leaves the team in shambles in 2 years. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's part of the problem when you have when you end up buying people without actually seeing how they fit into the team. If Conte had his way, if he was in charge, they would have 60 players. I have no doubt about it. He would just keep adding players. He'd just be like, I need more, right? I don't care who I'm going to get rid of. I don't care whatever. So
and then still complain he doesn't have enough.
That's right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares what players he gets, upset with. I don't even think that – not that he should care that much about that. But, yeah, I mean, I love the fact that they couldn't even get, 4 weeks into the season, and they couldn't even keep their air of one of the favorites, really, without being like putting chinks in that armor 4 weeks in. I know they're still going to be considered one of the favorites, but – I love the fact that they've already dropped a few points, and it's great because
it was a great result. But the other point I wanted to make about Inter, Lautaro. So you saw him make some connections with Lukaku in the first half, and they had some nice interchanging plays together. But there's too many times for Lautaro, for someone who's supposed to be world class, he completely disappears in games. That second half, I think he touched the ball twice. He had one give and go with Lukaku. The rest of the game, the rest of the half at least, he was non-existent. The Kaiser, I don't know how to say his name on Milan.
Kyer. Yeah,
Kyer. He just took him completely out of the game. He dominated him. He did nothing.
That was actually one of the points I was going to say. Kyer, so I don't know if you guys remember him. When he was young, he was on Palermo.
Yeah.
And I saw him play that season. He was really in big form. And then I think Rome bought him, if I remember, and I was like, oh, that's a great buy, because I think he showed so much on Palermo. I think he might have played. Did he play with Barzagli and that group there before they went to? I'm not sure. It might have been after that.
Remember.
But then he kind of took a step back. He left Italy, but the game he played this past weekend showed some of that old promise, right? In terms of like that hard-nosed defender, winning balls in the air.
So he got that yellow card early. He was on top of Lautaro early, but he made known, listen, you're not going anywhere all game. I'm gonna be sticking to you. And he took him out of the game for the most part. Like I said, other than a couple of give and goes with Lukaku, non-existent in the second half. And for someone who is supposed to be a world-class player and there's a release clause of over $100 million, there's no way that guy is worth that much money. He disappears too much in games. I know he does crazy goals and he's definitely got skill, but he hasn't shown to me that he deserves all that yet.
But that's every player. That's every player nowadays. You string 5 good games together with a half a fart, and all of a sudden you're worth $80 million, right? I mean, there's countless players in Italy that from Milinkovic to Chiesa to
your boy Piatek.
Piatek, right? Piacco, when Juventus bought him, was almost gone. I mean, it was just you got people that do 10 good games, and all of a sudden they're worth $1 gazillion. So Lautaro's good, but I think that we talked about Korolev before. I mean, first of all, he's old, so he's a step slower than he was before. But the whole thing about Korolev when he's in form is that he's an attacking defender on the wing, right? That gives you that extra man almost, and that's dangerous. But when you put him, playing defense at 3, that takes away his ability to really go forward. Well, he's not really.
You saw his strength. Their one goal, he set it up. He went up the field with the ball and he passed it off the side and it got crossed in. So you saw what he's good at. But
that's what he's good at.
He's just too old. He can't play
what's
defense.
The deal? Why is he play? Because I thought I heard on the broadcast too that for the national team he also plays.
Yeah, he's doing bad there.
He plays in the 3-back, right?
He's too old. He can't run as much as he used to. So you have to play a different position for him.
I get it. But I don't know. He's there for free kicks, and he is good when he's attacking, right? I don't know. He's a liability back there for sure.
Well, look, and to me, it almost cements. I mean, I've been, me, I'm no Inter praiser, but I've been praising Bastoni the first couple of games I saw him, and I think their defense obviously took a hit. Right, with him not being there, and you're going to be in a situation sometimes where you're not playing maybe your preferred 3 or 4 guys at the back, but that's another thing Conte's not good at, adapting. He's just not. He just thinks he's got it his way, and he wants to play that same style, but wants to get the credit for being this innovator sometimes. And I'm just I don't know.
Well, listen, he could have, with the defense he had, he could have went to a 4-man back on that game because he was so limited with his central defenders, but he was being stubborn, and that's the result he gets. Early in the game, they scored 2 quick goals. Yeah, Inter controlled most of the game. They controlled possession. They had more shots, but Milan was always on the counter. They always had that threat of a 3rd goal because their defense couldn't keep up with their wingers or Ibra. So it was a scary tactic, and it wasn't. I don't think it was a smart tactic.
It was dumb because as a coach, you have to be able to adapt too. If every opponent knows exactly how you're going to line up every single game, you're giving that away, right? You should be able to switch it up.
Well, yeah. I mean, and let's face it, Conte really has impressed me with his in-game subs either to change the game around too much. I just think Milan, they had a good game plan. They came out, they stayed compact on parts of the field they needed to, and then they broke out, pretty successfully on the breakout, and they were dangerous, and they took their chances, right? They didn't, that's the important thing. The game like that, if they miss their 2 chances, they lose 1-0, which can also happen, right? But you take your chances when you get them, and especially early on, you put them under pressure. But I do think for a young team, they showed some poise, making sure that no one did anything stupid, getting a second yellow after Kyer got that one early, or
The other person I wanted to point out on Milan was Kessié played very good. He was their best defender, and he's playing midfield, but he was shutting people down. He controlled the midfield.
He's been awesome. The end
No, I know. I'm saying he played really good.
But I know, I get what you're saying. But like last season, I remember like in the beginning and stuff, like he was struggling. But like he's hit his stride and he's legit, man. Him and Benacer are like an awesome.
Well, do you remember him on Atalanta? I mean, he was awesome, right? I mean, and then he had like a year or two where he just kind of was, or a year and a half where he was just struggling to get that back. But maybe he's finally settling in too, in the style they play. And if he comes back to the way he was in Atalanta, I mean, he was another big guy, right? That was like, what, 40, 50 million? Like there was a race to get him.
He was like 35, 40, something like that.
So he's a good player. So,
So
listen,
go ahead. No, I was going to say, let's talk about Milan. 12 points, first place. They won their first 3 games against, not the hardest opponents. But now they have their first real test. They win. What do you guys think? Do they have a legit shot at
I believe
the title?
Predictions early in the season, I had them at 2. So just to throw that out there.
You did have them at 2. Me and Frank and I had it 4.
4. We had them at 4. Yeah. No, I do. I mean, listen, it's so early. I don't care about any of the standings right now, but I will say a team like that, right? How you start matters. Them being so young, they have good players. It's just that they were a little bit younger. If they start to believe, right? And this was a big game for them because, like you said, the first 3 games they played lower opponents. People, they always had that in the back of their mind. Oh, who'd you beat? Well, now you went head to head with probably, the team that was claiming to be the anti-Juve this year. And guess what? You beat them for the first time since 2017, as your little graph says there. So I appreciate that. But I think it's a big I think it's a big statement game. As big a statement game as 4 games in could be. So I do think they can be in the running all the way to the end because look, Juventus is starting off bad, right? Inter is going to be Inter. They're going to have a string of 7 games to win, and then they're going to have 3 that they lose points. Atalanta's, they threw an egg. So I think they're going to be Napoli's playing good. They could absolutely be there. Why not?
Yeah, so this is with Romagnoli's first game back. This is without Rebic. This is without Tonali getting integrated into the team. They have a lot of promise, and I'm glad to see them up with this strong start. I hope it continues. I really do.
Yeah, listen, just for Serie A as a whole, I've been saying this for years, right? Way before we had this show, but I want a league again where there's 5, 6 strong teams. It's a better league when the big teams are good. Just for Italy as a whole, right? Bring more money to the league, bring sponsors, and I think Milan is going to go up. Milan and Inter, unfortunately, yes, I throw Inter in there too. Them becoming perennially good is the only way Serie A is really going to take that next step, right? The first step was Ronaldo coming over and putting Juventus kind of in that same notch or notch ahead above Real Madrid, right? Because they were a little bit below in terms of international marketing for a while. Not in terms of teams, I'm saying international marketing. But if Inter and Milan and these other teams can really become good, and the style of the games, I'll say, have been more entertaining this year. I don't know what you guys think.
I'm going to speak on that later with the amount of goals in this league. Yeah. It is insane. But
it has been entertaining, but I think last year was entertaining too. Like it's definitely a lot less. It's more fluid. It's more creative.
Yeah.
Like
it's more fluid. I do miss the days of when Italian teams could actually defend. I don't feel like they can defend anymore. Yeah, but they really can't.
True, man. Like, I don't know. How many slide tackles do you see? They get the ball first and they still get a yellow card. Like,
that is true. That is true.
So.
That is true. And I do miss that because, the old school defenders really, there's a part of the game that's important too. So we don't want to turn into the NFL, right? Where it's like everything is just offense and you can't play D because that's not so great either.
All right, let's move on to the next game. What's the next one you got? You guys want to talk about? Was it Juventus Crotone?
Yeah, let's go to the Juve game.
All right, so go ahead, Chris. You want to start?
Well, I mean, I think like right after we did our
sorry. So
like COVID, right?
Yeah, so McKinney, Ronaldo both had COVID, so they weren't in. And then also right after our last podcast, they came through with the Napoli-Juventus decision, was 3 points to Juventus, a 3-0 forfeit, plus Napoli with a -1 deduction from from their total already, which again they're going to appeal all of that. So just to throw that out, no Ronaldo, no McKennie, and then a 3-0 win for Juventus.
Yeah, talk about bad timing, right? We finished the show and like literally, I think those three things dropped within hours. Of that we're like, well, we could have had that stuff to talk about. But
as far as the game, I thought Morata was awesome. That second goal, that offsides. I mean, do VAR? I don't know.
I mean, it was offsides though.
It was.
Yeah, his heel, but I don't. Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, even the header, right? Even the glancing header he had that came off the post.
Yeah,
that would have been. Yeah.
I said to Dan, I was like, how'd that not go in? That was ridiculous. But he played awesome. He played great. Completely opposite of the last game he played, which he was terrible. Chiesa had his moments, right? He definitely had his moments, but then I feel like he's just brain dead sometimes, and he does stupid stuff.
No, the more I watch him play on Juventus, it goes back to what I said, what I thought his problem was sometimes about his lack of finishing right in front of the goal sometimes. So I think he gets there either too rushed, like his head moves faster than his feet sometimes, and he's a little bit tired, and he doesn't execute when he needs to execute. And I see that sometimes in his basic plays too. Like he'll do a lot of work, he'll do a lot of running, and then he comes to a basic pass and he like makes the pass short. I think he still has to learn how to either he has to get in better shape where he can do what he wants to do, a la Nedved, right? Like I can run a million miles a minute, and even Nedved used to mess up from time to time and still be accurate when I'm trying to make the final pass or the final shot, or he's got to find that little bit different type of running that to just be insidious when it's like to be concrete and finish versus just because I don't know, I can't explain it. Sometimes I'm like, what was that, right? What'd you do? But I mean, the guy works.
So that's the thing. He runs nonstop, but sometimes it's not smart running. It's just running without your head on your body. Like if you notice on that side, like Kulusevski was up top, Chiesa was next to him. Like the spacing was awful on that side. For counterattacks, the wing was open on that side because no one was really playing a correct position over there. So, and that's what we kind of feared with it was that he was going to be in, out of position and just attack. But he just runs so much, but sometimes it's unnecessary.
Well, remember you said, Dan, I think they're going to put him at wing back, right? And they that was kind of the role they wanted to put. And I kind of joked around. I said, well, yeah, it's going to be all wing, not a lot of back.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the guy's going to put the work in, but
it's not sometimes though.
Yeah, like sometimes it's like, okay, first of all, it's one of the first couple games, right? So there's two things here. If him and Kovalevsky, let's say, get a tremendous intent where they're switching and they're playing the ball quickly and they're becoming dangerous on that wing, then that maybe can make up for maybe the less than stellar defense that you're going to get. But he is going to have to find the right running, Dan. That's exactly right. Where am I going to extend my energy? I just can't run equally all the time and be, a half step slow when I need to do the final pass or the final shot. So he's, but I love the effort. I love the fact that he's there trying, but I didn't like the spacing with him and Kovalevsky a lot of times. I thought they were very close to each other, and I didn't think either of them were always maximizing their runs because I felt like they both wanted to go to the same space at the same time.
I think Chiesa's at its best when he's attacking the wing and getting those crosses in, for sure. Like, he had the assist. He can do that. He's capable of doing that. I think Kovalevsky or whatever, he's better at cutting in.
Wait, hold on. It's Kulusevski.
He's better at cutting in and, curling
Call
that
him
shot.
Special K. How about that?
Curling that shot in, right? Like, I don't know.
So, I don't mind the way he played, honestly. I thought he did. For your first game debut, you're going to be hyped up. You're going to be, wanting to prove yourself. You're going to want to have tons of energy, and he had all that. He did have the assist. He did show signs of, good signs up front. The defense, the spacing and the positioning was my issue.
What did you think about Pirlo with Frambota and Portanova on the one side?
What's going on? What's Portanova doing on the team? What is happening?
I think that's how lowly he thinks of Bernardeschi. Like, Bernardeschi's healthy, and you're not going to put him in?
Yeah, and then if I remember correctly, when he put Cuadrado in, did he swap Chiesa to the other side or no?
Chiesa was
already.
I don't know if he had been thrown out at that time already.
Yeah, well, that was a horrible red card too.
Well, I don't blame Chiesa for the red card. It wasn't intentional. He did. It
wasn't even a foul.
I thought they were going to review it and say, okay, yellow card, but
yeah, that was not a straight red.
I think that was just unfortunate. So I'm not blaming Chiesa for
that.
No,
I don't blame at all. I think, but that's that affected. I won't even say it affected the game because you're supposed to be able to beat Crotone before you ever get in a situation of tie. So that's 100% on Juventus. If we had Conte be saying the red card ruined the game, right? But no, it's like. But I think some of these issues, on the one side with, I know he wants to show from Botta maybe, and some.
I think he can play.
Yeah, he is a bit horrible.
You guys start on Juventus, but he can play.
You have to remember too, though, like he has to manage a team. They have Champions League 4 days later from this game, so he has to play these other players to get. That's
what I think was more of you saw in that game. I think it was Pirlo trying to manage for Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that's why you didn't see Dybala.
Listen. I heard a rumor today Dybala's not playing on tomorrow either. So just to give you a heads up, I don't know if it's true.
Well, maybe he's not ready. I don't know.
I don't think he's ready. He would have played. He would have played the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes tie game.
I read that he said he only ran for like 10 minutes the day before in practice. If that's the case, there's no point in putting him in there. Maybe he's protecting him from himself. Now, maybe you don't put him on the bench. Right? Yeah. Like I know they can bring all these people, but maybe you just don't you don't put yourself or him in that situation. Say, nope, I'm gonna give you some more time. You're not even gonna dress, right? Still, I still think there was other options there probably that he could have set up there.
So let's talk about the midfield.
I think Bentancur has improved so much on the ball. Like he's got skill and he moves it around and he's like
he played well this game. I think Bentancur played pretty good.
The broadcast was like hyping up Arthur. I don't know. I didn't see anything special, but I don't know. It's one game.
Well, I think both of them disappeared, and I still don't think Juventus uses the midfield as much as they should. It's always out wide. That's how they always go, is out wide, and you just ignore the midfield like they've been doing. Like Pjanic just got ignored, or if he did, he would pass it 3 feet and then it would go out wide. So I don't know. I wasn't impressed by either of them personally.
No, I do think if if they're going to have these people on their team like Bernardeschi and what have you, if they're part of your roster, like you got to find a way to integrate them a little bit, right? Because you're only 4 games in. Who did they have injured really? They had McKinney and they had Ronaldo out, right? Mm-hmm. Who else is injured? Because I'm trying to think like. Why did we have 2 players on the field starting that? I'm not saying they shouldn't start young guys. That's fine. If they're ready to start. But do we have that many injuries where you're kind of looking around going, I don't have a lot of options? 4 game.
I'm just happy Demiral played.
Well, so Ramsey wasn't available either, right?
Yeah, he's hurt.
Okay.
So
yeah.
But as far as speaking of the defense, I don't know if anyone mentioned defense, but Demiral got his first start. Bonucci gave away. He's the one that gave away the penalty shot, right?
Yep.
Yeah, not surprised. And then Danilo was Danilo. Didn't do anything special.
He's played okay.
He's just there, kind of.
Better than last year, I think.
But something to keep an eye on for Crotone, and Chris was watching the game with me, was Messiah Junior Messiah. He can play a little bit.
Listen, I said it the first week I was watching their game, and I said, this kid, when they get knocked down to Serie B, he's going to get bought by someone. He's like legit. He's young. I think he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, so he had a good partnership with Semi, right? Is his first name?
Yeah.
And he's a scorer. He scored tons of goals in the second division. He's been in Serie A before. He can score, but Junior Messiah, he linked up well. He moved well. He's got some skills. So he's maybe somebody to look out for. Like Chris said, maybe he gets bought by somebody.
I like him. I think he's going to be good.
So overall, I think again, just more drop points by Juventus, right? So this is good. So as much as I keep saying it's 4 weeks in, remember we said early in the season, like a slow start, put pressure on Pirlo. It's early yet, but if you have a couple more bad games in a row, or a bad Champions League game and a couple more in Serie A, all of a sudden, I'm not saying they're going to fire Pirlo or anything like that. I'm just saying you're going to start to dig yourself a hole that's going to open up an opportunity for another team to kind of put some distance between you and them. So
I think they're lucky that Napoli game got that. because they're playing.
Yeah.
They play like
That's true. That's true.
Playing, they're dominated. Napoli's playing legit, man. He's changes that team. Like, he is legit. He scored his first goal. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that next, but
so just to go back to just keep on Juventus for one more second. Are you guys impressed with how they played so far this season? I think I know the answer.
No, the first game was okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
No, well, if I remember the first game, I said, okay, well, the game was so comfortable with Sampdoria that you couldn't really take too much out of it, right? Yeah. So I think they've had spells in games where they've moved the ball well, or they pressed. The on-ball pressure has been decent. So they've had spells of it. I don't think they put 90 minutes together, and I still think the movement can improve with the latest iteration of the lineups, because I don't think, like we were talking about before, Chiesa, Kovalevsky, or Special K, or whatever.
Call them whatever you want. It's fine.
They need to improve. I think the midfield is still trying to figure out, who's really the engine there. I think they want to play it interchangeable, where it's like, okay, the ball moves to everyone equally, which could be good for sure. But there's still moments where people disappear, and the forwards. You saw Morata excel in the game where Ronaldo wasn't there. So not to read too much into it, but
that was their issue on Real Madrid. They couldn't play together. They couldn't play it all together. So
I don't think it has so much to do with them specifically. I think it's sometimes Ronaldo sucks so much air and attention from the team, from his own team, that it does kind of limit the options of the movement you get off the ball from other players, the interchange, how the ball gets worked, right? Because it's like, oh, go to Ronaldo. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as a player, being on the team would be awesome, being on Ronaldo's team, because he's a winner. Like, he'll make you a better player, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, as a forward, if I played with him, knowing that he's going to roll his eyes and, all that stuff, like, that would get to me for sure. Like, let me do my thing. I know how to play, right? Like, I don't know. So.
Yeah, you have to hope that Morata, especially his second round playing with him, has a little bit more mental fortitude than getting upset with that. But more importantly than that, it's not just, hey, I can coexist, but it's like, can they get to the point where they excel, right? Where there's like
Dybala and Ronaldo at the end of last season, they were playing well together.
Yeah. That doesn't leave a spot for Morata then. If you're playing, them. Morata, I really liked how he played. I forget about the goals even. I mean, just his positioning, his willingness to win head balls. The through ball he gave to Portanova was beautiful. Like a forward that's willing to pass the ball off and set people up. I thought he played well, and that's what I've always liked about Morata. His speed, his willingness to do everything.
That's their real opportunity, right? If you have all these skilled players that really are willing to play for each other, really, really play for each other. I'm talking, Kovalevsky, Chiesa, Dybala, Ronaldo, whoever's in, if they're willing to play the ball, move off each other, and sacrifice to open up space to just, next guy up, you're going to score, and they move and interchange and move, run off each other well, like, there's endless amount of chances that can come out of that 90 minutes, right? As long as the rest of the team can support it and the midfield can, have the right shape as well. So, but we haven't been able to see that yet because the ball has been hurt. Ronaldo's out, so hopefully they can build on that.
Yeah. I mean, they'll still be out. On Tuesday you won't have Ronaldo, you won't have McKinney, so we'll see what lineup Pirlo comes up with on Tuesday. Let's move on. What's the next game you guys want to talk about? So this game, I think, would you say was probably the most surprising? None of us picked Napoli to win that game, but not only did they win it, they dominated that game. That was crazy, and it makes me really kick myself for not even thinking about Napoli in the Champions League this year because there were so many other good teams. But, man, Gattuso, that team, like, when have you ever thought of Gattuso's team as an offensive team that can, do so much up front? Like, they have his grit, and then they have so much skill, too. It's really crazy to see how well they've been playing.
Yeah, no, I was pretty shocked, and I was watching this game on my phone while I was in the dentist chair, right? So this was kind of annoying because I had to go get my teeth cleaned that I booked like 9 months ago or 6 months ago, whatever. So I didn't get to focus on this game the way I wanted, but I was I think, in fact, before I got to turn my phone on, you guys were texting me that it was like 3-0 or whatever, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" But from what I saw and what a little bit that I understood, like I think, what I think, believe it or not, I think Atalanta they are so dependent on all 11 people playing, off of each other, knowing where each person's going to move at all times, right? Being in better shape than the other team, right? Being able to outrun them, outwork them. I think it started with him trying to insert Iličić into the game, try to get him some game time where clearly he's not ready, right? So I think Gasperini was actually trying to show a little bit of managing the Champions League and Serie A, because I think a little bit of his picks were like, hey, look, I got all these big games. I got to get these people in at some time. And when you do that and you hit a team like Napoli who's firing at all cylinders, I mean, really, like
who's also annoyed that they just got a point deducted and lost 3. They got extra motivation. So I question him starting. Like, we want to put him off the bench. That's fine in his first game back, but to have him start there was, I don't know.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because, I mean, Gasperini, I think he's one of the best coaches around. So he knows his squad, and he thinks that, he thinks they could have pulled that off. But, I mean, they ran into a buzzsaw, right? Like, Dan, maybe like as you said, they were so mad from losing the 3 points and not playing Juventus, and they came in and they just took the game to them. They did the pressing that Atalanta normally does. Atalanta decided to, back off, and they got, they weren't able to pressure the ball. They weren't able to create the turnovers. Next thing you know, it's 3-0. And it was just like they were looking up and, yeah, go ahead.
No. So I was going to say, about their pressing and everything, our father called me at halftime in that game. He's like, do you see this? So I spent all halftime talking to him about the game. And we were saying the same exact thing. Like Napoli, when they were playing defense, the pressing and then the cutting off of the passing lanes they couldn't pass it anywhere. Like you see the give and goes that Atalanta always does, and you didn't see any of that. Like they could not pass the ball anywhere. Everyone was covered, and I don't know if it was Bakayoko played his first game. He covered really well. He helped in the midfield, but just defensively, Napoli was all over them. They could not do anything. Every time Iličić touched the ball, it was a turnover.
Iličić just wasn't up to the game speed, right? Like that was the wrong game to start playing again because, Napoli came with the running and the speed and the pressure that Atalanta normally presses, which is plays with, and that's usually they just dominate everyone. And Napoli came with that, and then he was trying to insert himself into a game, the first game playing there where his team was on the back foot. It just wasn't a good game to kind of get in there. And then, in that game, it's going to be tight. When you have two teams that potentially could play that well, you can't play 1 or 2 man down, right? Because that's going to give them the other – and I'm not saying he was that bad, but, you need to go in full force and you need to really, you just got to play them full force. And I just think by the time they looked up, they were down 2-3-0, and they didn't have the same – punch back that you see.
So, Chris, you haven't said anything, but I'll go after you. But I don't know if you want to add something.
I mean, I think Osimhen changes that team, man. He's physical. He's fast. He knows how to finish. He brings a lot to that team. They play differently with him on the field. And Chucky Lozano's playing great. He's fast on the wing. He's scoring goals. They're fun to watch, and this is all without Insigne too, right? He's not playing.
Politano played probably one of his best games I've ever seen him play.
Politano's good. I've been saying that since he was on Sassuolo.
He was dominant on that wing. Palomino could not handle him. That was something Daddy and I were talking during halftime. I thought, well, first of all, Atalanta, their game they played was probably the worst game they played in over 2 years.
Yeah, I agree.
But I also think it was Gasperini's worst game I've seen in a very long time. So for a few reasons, Iličić starting, we've already said that. I wouldn't have started him. I would have put him off the bench. Number 2, the defense. I think he made his changes way too late. I know he doesn't want to use subs 30 minutes into the game. That's fine, whatever. But you could have changed some things. He could have put Romero on the side and put Palomino in the middle and change that up because Palomino was getting destroyed on that wing. Change him, put him over there. He could not handle Politano on the side over there.
Listen, I don't think Romero would have either. I don't think he's that good.
He's a little bit faster, I think.
But you could have changed it a little bit. It clearly wasn't working. Whatever the hell you were doing, change something. He was stagnant. He didn't do anything.
And listen, this is the first time that I saw also the changes Gasperini made where he kind of gave up on the game, right? Normally they go, I think he read it correctly, like we're not coming back this game. We're just not playing the way we need to. So he took out, Gomez, and he took out players that I think he really tried to save for the Champions League.
Do they have a game this week too? Or is that next week?
No, they play Wednesday.
Yeah.
Gomez, but give it Napoli credit. Like, Gomez got shut out. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't get the ball. He couldn't pass it where he wanted to pass it.
So they took him off the field. I think it was like the 54th minute.
He took Zapata out too. I think that was all part of Wednesday, right? I think that's really what that was.
I think that definitely plays a part into it. I think Gasperini got a lot wrong that game, and he wasn't.
Yeah, listen,
ready for
it's
that.
one of the games that can happen right now. Don't forget, Napoli didn't play. Right, they forfeited.
Oh yeah, they were well rested. I mean, they haven't played in 2 weeks, so
besides that, that helped them. They were pissed off, but then also, if they would have came and let's say played the Juventus game and showed 3/4 of what they showed versus Atalanta, maybe the decisions would have been different, right? Because if they put a game in versus Juventus and go, holy crap, this is the team we're facing. I think they approached the game a little bit different.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
Yeah. So. All that stuff comes into play.
Going back to Osimhen, so Napoli's funny because they're the one team where, like, I said this before, like you find one player that they love, like they really love him. Like you could just see the smiles on everyone's faces when he scored that goal. He even slipped on the goal, but it was perfect placement. Like they are in love with that kid, and we all thought when they bought him $80 million for a kid from France who we never even heard of, played in the French league. They hit a home run on that signing.
Well, what I like about
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say what I like about him is not only the speed and the strength that he plays with, but he's very unselfish in terms of his running. Right, he's always showing to the ball. He's always running to space to give his team an outlet, which is huge because it allows them to release pressure and stretch, right? So like you see him making a 25-yard run across the field where they can just place the ball into space and he's holding off the defense and allows the entire team to relieve pressure and move forward. So, and he's not doing it in a way where typically when you get that ability, the number 9s are more static, but he's doing it with a ton of running, right?
He runs so effortlessly. It's like he's not even trying when he runs. And for Napoli to be firing like this so well with their main striker, finally getting his first goal. Like that's just all good, signs of good things to come. That everyone else is clicking, and now if this kid starts clicking and puts the ball in the back of the net, they're going to be very difficult to beat. And I'm so upset that Juventus game got canceled.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But here's what I will say too: what's the one Achilles heel for Atalanta? Right, we know their defense is horrible. Mm-hmm. And when we looked at how Napoli structures the team, the way they came and the way they pressed the ball, and then Osimhen, all these Napolitano, all these players, Chucky Lozano, like they were ripe to get picked apart too, right? Because if you're not going to control the ball and control the space, get the quick turnovers, you're in trouble if you're Atalanta, because when you put talented, fast, speedy players attacking your defense and creating, like, you're going to give up goals. Like, so everything was right? But it's a big statement game for Napoli for sure. Because I mean, to me, the best team up until that week, Atalanta was up there.
For sure, yeah, no question. Yeah, they beat the best team in the league. That's how I see that. They beat the best team in the league.
Quite frankly, you know what I think is going to happen this year? I think you're going to have 5 or 6 good teams. I'd be surprised if one team strings together from the beginning to the end the way they're kind of showing now. And I think you're going to have a good finish where there's going to be 3 or 4 teams in it till the end, which would be awesome.
I think first and second will come down to 3 points, within 3 points of each other.
I think top.
Sorry, it's going to be tough to make the Champions League, man.
That's what I was going to say. I think the final Champions League game gets settled on the final week or two for sure. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 teams in for that final spot,
which is awesome. You can't ask for more than that.
No, if it works like that, we're in good shape. I will say that for Crotone, I hope from being from Calabria, I hope I hope they are able to take this point that they got from Juventus and do decent for relegation.
Yeah, pull a string of games together. I don't see it, but sure.
No, you never know.
All right. Anything else to say on that game? You guys good with that?
Right. Yeah, no, it was an entertaining game. I was mad I was in the dentist chair, like I said, but so let me ask you this question for that game. Do you think if they play 10 games in a row, how many times do you think that game plays out the way it does with that result?
I think Gasperini can adapt and he'll change. Like if that happened one time, he's going to change, right?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So I'm almost a little hesitant to just because I think it was Atalanta's worst game they played in 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and not being able to see your opponent because they forfeited for 2 weeks, there was a lot of things that maybe Gasperini would have said, oh, you know what, like this guy's in form. I saw him play last week. let me make a little bit different decision.
I mean, he didn't have Freuler. He didn't play either. Hatterboer didn't play either. So yeah, I understand that they didn't have the full strength, but neither did Napoli. So you play with what you have.
No, it's true.
And they got dominated. And I think that in the end, in the long run, that's going to help Atalanta because they're going to see that, like, we're beatable. We're not as good as we think we are. We got to get our shit together.
That's actually a great call. I was thinking that. I thought that the other day, too. I said, you know what, for Atalanta, it's almost a great wake-up call early enough in the season and not in a big game where you kind of go, okay, yeah, we're good, but we still have to remind ourselves that if we don't play a perfect game, if we don't play the perfect effort, if we don't really execute on the game plan, we can get beat, right? So I think it's actually a really good wake-up call for them to have, right? Not to kind of buy into their own hype, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Next one, because I think we're already 50 minutes in here, so around there.
Oh, geez. What's the next game we want to talk about? Oh yeah, Lazio. So another big surprise that we saw. I don't think anyone would have said, 3-0 loss for Lazio for this game. I watched the highlights of the game. I'm not going to lie and say that I watched the whole game. I did watch the highlights. Tommaso Augello played the game of his life. I don't know that he'll ever play that well again. Any ball he touched was like magic somehow. Putting crosses in. He got an assist. He got a goal. He almost scored on another cross. It was a cross and it almost went in the net. He played well, but Lazio and they didn't have Immobile. They didn't have all their full roster either, right? That new kid, Murici, he started. Lazio, 10 shots, 0 on target. You have to do better than that. Like, I'm sorry, you just have to do better. Like I said, I didn't really see much. And this is what Strakosha, he made some saves. He made some really good saves too.
Well, here's what I would say, because I didn't get to see this full game either, but I will say the only thing I will say is knowing that they have Quagliarella and they have Ranieri, I kind of said that they were going to eventually put it together. I think we all said, right? So it doesn't shock me. I mean, the score 3-0, of course, like you wouldn't have picked that, but like, it just, again, it's the problem with Lazio because they're so inconsistent. And this year, the competition is so much better. This is why I think none of us picked them in the top 4.
No,
this is not the year to, if you play the same consistency you played last year, guess what? You're going to end up 6th, 7th, 8th this year. Like, that's just how it's going to be. So they're going to have to wake up fast.
Yeah. This is what I feared from when we first started before the first game. If they don't start off strong, they're very inconsistent. You haven't seen them they'll put a half a season good together and then a half a season terrible. It's looking like this is a half a season that is not going to be good for them. And I think they're going to lose so many points in the beginning that it's going to be too much to pick up to even get a Europa League spot possibly. So they got to get their stuff together.
They do have to get their stuff together because there's players on that team that January is going to come and they're going to leave if they don't get their crap together. Like Milinković Savić, I could totally see him leaving. So
I think it depends where they're at. If they say, okay, it's a lost season and they want to make some money off of him, but then again, how are you going to sell these people if they're not playing good? Like, you're not going to make any money on them. So
yeah. And plus, there's usually not a ton of money in the January transfer window either, right? So it's you don't want to sell people low when there's less coin. But, to me, it's like, look, like I said, Juventus can quickly get enough points behind where they start digging themselves a hole. Well, that goes doubly for every other team that's not Juventus, right? That doesn't know how to win. So, because let's face it, you're going to have games on your schedule, and a lot of them this year, where you're going to play a team that could beat you any given week, no matter what team you are. If the first 4 weeks are an indication, right? Lazio's played right now, Atalanta, Milan, Napoli, Inter.
So part
right?
of
They can use any of them.
Part of it too, they do have a Champions League game coming up tomorrow. I think they play, and they're playing against Borussia Dortmund. The way Lazio's playing right now, they're not making it out of their group. Like, not even. I have no confidence in them making out of the first round of the Champions League the way they're playing, and they have a tough game coming up.
Dortmund's got Khan, so
they got what?
Emery Khan, John, or whatever. Khan.
Yeah. He couldn't play on our team. He was, so bad. Thanks to Saudi.
See Reda having a hat trick tomorrow.
No, I'm interested. I'm interested to see that game. I want to. I always like to watch Dortmund. Of all the German teams, they're the most exciting team to play. But it's not going to be a fun time for Lazio that game. They're going to be pressed, and they're going to be on their heels. They're going to be on their heels a lot. Yeah.
The only thing there is, I will say, like, when you play in these Champions League games, a lot of times it gives the players a little extra motivation.
Oh, yeah. Wait, because Immobile always comes up in big games. So, I have a lot of faith in that.
Yeah, well, I just, they might show up better is all I'm saying.
What's the next game?
So, let's talk the Roma game, which was the game on 2:45 on Sunday.
These graphics.
I was just about to say, look at that logo. How clean is that? Jesus. The other thing I wanted to mention, back to that Lazio game real quick. So every team scored a goal this week. When I made that graphic, every team scored a goal except for Lazio. They were the only team that shut out. Other than today's game, it was a 0-0 game. I made that graphic before. But 41 total goals scored out of the 10 games that were played. That's 4 goals a game. The amount of scoring in the league, it's like Chris said last year, there was a lot of goals, especially after the pandemic last year. The defenses, I don't know, are sleeping, but it is the most entertaining.
How many penalties? How many penalties?
Not that much, to be honest. There weren't that many penalties.
That's good, because that's a problem for sure from last year, at least.
But how much when in the 90s growing up, how many 5-2 results did you get? None. It was always
none. Yeah, you would get 3 a year from the whole league, 2 a year from the whole league. Maybe.
I mean, it's insane now, the amount of goals that are going to score. It's just so fun to watch. Like, you just pick up a random game like this. Like, I had no interest in Rome Benevento. That game was entertaining. It was really good. Yeah,
but as a purist, or as a old school, like, I still do appreciate the good tactics, right? Solid tactics and defense that I just don't think we get anymore. I mean, even Juventus can't defend, right? We have Bonucci. I mean, come on.
A team that can't defend is Benevento. I think even on their last goal, it was literally a 3 on the goalie. Three of the forwards.
And he didn't save it?
And he didn't save it somehow. I don't know. But
I think that's kind of expected from them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They play attacking. So, But a team like that, like, you have to know who you are. And you have to know who you're playing. Like, you cannot put yourself in position.
No, you know what? I kind of like teams that come up like this, though, because here's the deal. A lot of them come up and they do the whole thing that Dan's saying. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to just let the other team attack because I'm so little. And I'm going to and try to score 1 goal on the counterattack that never happens, and they lose anyway. So I'd rather have a team that, like, makes their own identity and goes, you know what, we're going to sit 90 minutes, we're going to take it to you. We're going to lose a lot of games 5-2 because we just have worse players, but we're going to win some too because we're going to catch you off, unsuspecting. I feel like at least take your shot, right? If you're in Serie A, take your shot, play your game, because, if you sit back and you try to just, counterattack and not give up goals, how many teams – most of the teams get to Christmas and they go, well, we have 3 points, right? We've scored 6 goals and we're already out of it anyway. So I might as well have them go out there and at least maybe try to beat some of the worst teams.
They are playing their game and they have taken points from teams, right? So like, why not? Go for it.
I don't know. It was just, if you saw, I don't know if you saw the highlights of the game, that there was no defense. Like, I understand what you're saying, but like literally no defense. So,
well, that's the difference between playing attacking and playing it well, right? Like, just because you should not supposed to open yourself up to have 3 on the goalies. I mean, that's obviously that's not.
It looked like they were running the flying V from the Mighty Ducks. Like, that's how it was just like a 5 on the goalie. Like, it was crazy.
That's awesome. Did they go on a water break or something? Or?
I don't know. So with this game, Dzeko finally got on the board, scored 2 goals. What was it? I think I even put the stats wrong. I thought Carlos Perez scored a goal, the young kid from Rome, and he scored a crazy-looking Zaniolo-type goal. He ran from the midfield and dribbled around 2 players and shot from outside the box. A beautiful play. Like, he has serious potential with Zaniolo and Perez there together. They have some nice young players in Rome.
I don't know. Did Dzeko score twice? I don't know.
Maybe he didn't. I think maybe I got the graphic wrong. I don't know, but
nicely produced.
But it was nice to see that Dzeko finally scored. Veretout gave up a terrible play in his own box that resulted in a penalty shot and a yellow card. Lapadula missed the penalty shot but scored right after on the rebound. It's just something that happened in the game.
Does he still have his 70s porn stash, though?
Who?
Lapadula.
No, I don't think. No, that's gone by now. Yeah.
COVID.
So, and then the other thing that, all that talk about Dzeko coming to Juventus, whatever, now it looks like they're trying to renew his contract, which is good for them. I mean, he's he's their captain, right?
Yeah.
He'll be staying over there, it looks like.
Yeah.
But it was a fun game to watch. It really was. Like, just like I said, entertaining offensive soccer. You can't complain. As a neutral who doesn't care anything about that game, give me that all day.
Well, that's the nice thing, right? There's more games now, it seems like, if you're in neutral, that they're just going to try. There's going to be goal scorer. There's going to be attacking. They're going to entertain you. I remember, like you said, in the 90s, you'd watch some game you didn't care about, and you were literally – and you appreciated the 0-0, but –
No, it was so boring. It was so boring.
The games on Sunday, and it was 0-0. 2 teams like Palermo, and I was like, come on.
Well, yeah, that's the difference. I could appreciate the 0-0 when it's my team playing another team, but when it's 2 random, fighting for relegation, you're not going to be like, yeah, let me watch too many of those. So this is better, but I still think we're losing a little bit of that Italian origin in terms of being – the best tactical league and defensive team. I just feel like
it's the way soccer's going now.
Yeah, I think it's just adapted. All right, let's move on from that game. Is there any other? So I know I didn't make a graphic for this, but it's Caputo corner time. Sassuolo, they were down.
Corner.
God, someone's gonna clip that.
So who are they even playing again? Because I watched this game, but I can't even remember.
Bologna. It was a good game.
Bologna. Yeah. So Bologna had the lead twice, and Sassuolo came back in the second half. They made some substitutions. Caputo did get his goal. Caputo right now, by the way, 4 goals, 3 assists in 4 games.
Listen, MVP. That's what I'm saying. No, but also I did want to point out your boy Locatelli gave one of the worst giveaways I've ever seen.
I completely agree. He dribbled around his own box, just going nowhere, passed it right to Orsolini, and resulted in a goal. Luckily, they had enough offense to come back from that. He made the subs. He took out Traore. He put in some other players, some offensive players. Raspadori. Frank, I don't know if you've seen Raspadori play yet.
Not too much, no.
He is a future star.
Dude, he's good.
He's a star.
All right, I have to check this out.
Why do you say that? Skill, fast. He plays on the wing, but he can also play forward, up top. The kid is legit, and he's going to be a national team player. He is fantastic.
How old is he?
He's young. He's like 19.
Yeah.
Well, good. So let's take him. We need some more stars.
If you want to watch entertaining soccer, watch Sassuolo, man. One touch. I'm serious. They're legit. They're good. And this was without Boga, right? Like, he didn't play. Mm-hmm. I said to Dan yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I said, imagine if they would have kept Sensi and, these players that, they have a good team, and they're fun to watch. Their coach is awesome. I love them. I really do.
Well, they had Napolitano for a while, too, didn't they?
Poliitano.
Napolitano. My dyslexia kicking in.
So I was impressed with twice now. I've seen this kid Ayhan, the Turkish defender. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Ayhan. He's pretty solid in the back. To go with Mulder, the other Turkish defender. They have a young core. They have a good team. Locatelli's better than what you saw him giving the ball away at the end over there. But Caputo puts in his goals consistently. Berardi does the same thing every time. He cuts to the left. He curls a shot to the far post. It goes in every freaking time. I don't understand. Every time it goes in.
He's got.
You think people would keep him from cutting inside?
Yeah, like, can you just mark that? Like, push him to the right. Like, don't let him do that. But they have a lot of players. Boga, they're probably their best player, most exciting at least. Hasn't even played yet. And I know this is a lot to say, but I would sell Boga and put Raspadori there. That's how good I like Raspadori. I think Raspadori is so good that I would cash in on Boga and just play this kid the rest of the season. He's going to be amazing.
Keep him.
I have to see him now. I've not seen him. I gotta admit. Now I'm intrigued.
You need depth because I'm telling you, man. If they play like this, they give up goals, right? But like, I don't know. Top sixes they're better than Fiorentina. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, Fiorentina was your pick, huh?
That goes with coaching, and we'll talk about Fiorentina. Fiorentina, who tied Spezia 2-2. We're just going to jump into that right now. Iachini needs to be fired.
He's not good.
Yeah, they're not playing well.
They scored 2 quick goals against Spezia. I turned the game off. I'm like, it's 3 minutes in, and it was 2-0. This game is not going to be. It's over. And the second half, Spezia dominated. Fiorentina didn't even touch the ball. Like, it was nonstop in Fiorentina's half, and no response. The coach isn't doing anything to change it up. Putting in Crotone, like, that gives me a lot of confidence to put that scrub in. Like, I've never liked Crotone, so anytime he goes in the game, it gets me upset.
Well, you thinking Sarri's coming?
I think Sarri's coming. They had another report again that Juventus and him are very close to resolving his contract. And
Camiso's got money, right? So he can maybe get him somewhat close.
He's going to make a splash, and I think he's going to sign him. But Fiorentina is better than what they have been, and it's.
How did our boy play?
Amrabat played okay. I mean, they even said in the broadcast that there was complaints that he's playing too deep, that he should be more advanced.
The one game that I did see, he was literally behind the stopper.
Yeah, so they're playing him as like a deep lying playmaker, right? Like spread the ball. Like he beats the crap out of people. Like go around, get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I see him more of as like a box to box midfielder. Yeah. He can do more because his passing is on point and he's strong and he's tough. He doesn't back down from challenges. I would play him a little more advanced too, but I understand why they're doing it. Their defense sucks, so they need that protection.
I have no problem with them wanting him to be like the destroyer and the second, like to protect the defense, right? And that's fine. But I think what I saw, he was so far back that it was almost like he couldn't connect with the rest of the midfield. So you just need – they can't be – they were too spread out. So, I mean, I think, look, you never want to root for somebody to get fired, but I would not be surprised if Sarri's a splash for Camiso.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think some microwave is going on.
Yeah, what's going on? Who's making a hot pot?
I don't know. I want some popcorn.
That's our producer's wife, probably.
Nicely produced.
I will say this right now. I think Sassuolo's finishing ahead of Fiorentina. I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's 4 weeks. No, 5 weeks. How many games we have?
4.
Yeah.
4. So I mean, there's a lot of things that would not shock me. But again, let me see the first 10. Let me see the first 10 games and see which. Usually, the real teams.
Well, that's good because Iachini will be fired in the first 10, so then we can see the real team.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Why don't you throw up the standings? I know someone got the standings.
I didn't make a graphics for the standings. Sorry.
It doesn't matter. What about
it does matter. So Swallow's in second place. Milan's in first place.
Throw them up, Chris. Finally.
How about you just throw them up?
So, Dom, why don't you bring up the Champions League thing that we have so we can see the schedule? Look how God, that's beautiful. Look even that. We got trophies over there. I don't know if that's what the Champions League trophy looks like, but that's what the generic one was. So I picked that.
It's pretty hot.
So Tuesday we have 2 games. Juventus is at Dynamo Kiev.
Univision for people who want to watch it, right?
Yes, apparently it's in Univision. On Univision.
Is it on ESPN Plus? No, they're not. They don't carry it, right?
No, they don't carry it. It's all CBS All Access, I think.
I hate it. By the way, can I rant for a second?
Go ahead.
As much as I'm not a huge ESPN fan, when ESPN had the Champions League, I never had a hard time figuring out where the hell the games were. Now it was like last year it was like TNT, Univision, random game. I'm like, dude, Galavision, do you want us to watch these games? Like, at least tell us where they are. Why'd you buy the rights?
I think now they have the CBS All Access, and they want people to subscribe. So $5 a month, you want to watch that. I personally am not paying for it.
Is that what it's on?
Yeah, CBS All Access, so you have to pay for it, and you'll get every game. But
that's actually a good deal, $5. That's not too bad.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know.
That at least makes business sense to me. See, I didn't know that. I was like, why did you buy games and put them on channels that like you can't find them, and you're only playing like ESPN used to show like a lot of them live. Like last year, they were showing like one live and the rest were recorded. I was like, what are we taking a step backward here? What's going on?
Yeah,
but the CBS All Access, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean it's very frustrating that you got to go and search for the games. But back to their game, Dynamo Kiev. I can't tell you anything about that team. I don't know how they're playing, what their form is right now. But tomorrow, 12:55, we'll see what sort of lineup Pirlo puts in. I don't know. There's not much to say about that. Lazio's got the hard game on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Borussia Dortmund.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scared for Lazio. I do not think that's going to be a pretty game.
I think they're fully going to lose.
So the other game Wednesday, Atalanta versus FC Midtjylland. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly. Fun fact about that team, Frank, I believe that owner of that team is the same owner as Brentford. Remember the team I told you about that I kind of root for? I root for in the second division, the championship in England. I believe
multiple teams.
I believe he owns this team, and they play, from everything I hear, very attacking brand of soccer. So that game might be 5-5 at the end. Who knows?
What channel is this game on?
Who the hell knows, man? I don't know. And then same time on Wednesday, you have Inter versus Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Borussia Mönchengladbach.
They have little turnaround, right? Little turnarounds on that team.
Yeah, he might be actually. Yeah.
He's a forward. He's a good player.
Listen, honestly, looking at all these games,
4 losses I'm seeing for the time.
They could be 4 trap games. Honestly, they could be 4. I mean, Atalanta, hopefully they got a wake up call. But if they play like they played versus Napoli, they could lose.
Yeah.
Inter could lose to anyone because they're Inter. Lazio better wake up, and Juventus. How much do we believe in Portanova? And
So I think the most interesting one of all those teams is Atalanta, just to see how they react to. Last year they came into it as like, oh man, they're not even going to make it out of the group. But this year there's expectations, right?
Yeah,
so I think it'll be interesting to see how they actually react to those expectations. I think they'll do well tomorrow, but it's not going to be as easy as everyone thinks it's going to be.
No, it's never easy. And honestly, that's the difference. You saw the difference, right? Because like Atalanta, I think they saw the Champions League as like a nice to have, right? But they would I don't think last year he would have ever took out his best 11 from Serie A to kind of like try to manage the Champions League. Now he's trying to manage the first game of the Champions League, which I think is interesting, right? Like he's almost planning like, hey, I have all these games. I have a couple more players than I had the year before. Like I have to manage the roster. He's doing the right thing, but you could tell there's more expectation there. You know?
All right, so I can't really see that. It's very tiny. There we go.
Blow that up, man.
So Caputo is in second place.
Yeah.
3 wins, 1 draw. Look at that. But the amount of goals, I mean, Chris is right. They've been.
I'm telling you, if you are listening to this podcast and you don't watch them play, please watch a game. They're fun to watch. One touch, quick moving the ball. They're good to watch.
Sassuolo gear.
Oh, I like their jersey. I would buy a jersey.
Yeah.
The most impressive team I've seen all season is Napoli.
Yep.
Napoli has been the best team in this, and it sucks that they got a loss for. I really hope, and I don't think it's finalized. They might be able to get that game in. There's always like these little hearings and all that kind of stuff. Maybe they'll get it in. Right now, it's a 3-0 forfeit and the 1-point deduction. But the most impressive team has been Napoli all season. Juventus is not in the Champions League.
Does Hellas Verona pass Inter next week?
Listen, Hellas Verona lost so many players, and I feel bad for Juric. He even said, he's like, we got rid of all of our players. Like we didn't spend. So and they're still in 7th place.
They're doing well.
But it sucks for them that a team, especially with their fans, they have such a good fan base, and it's just like to get it ripped away. Constantly like sell. Yeah. It sucks.
It's got to be tough because most of the years, like we're Juventus fans, but it's like if you're one of these bottom teams, like you kind of go into the season with what's your expectation? Like just a good showing,
top half of the table, right?
Top 10. Yeah.
But Inter is also not in the Champions League, so I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Just remember, it is very early. Very, very early.
Chris, do you have really quickly, because I know we've been on way too long, do you have the schedule for next week? I didn't look at it at all. Is there any games that maybe you
I didn't look at it either, actually.
Give me a sec.
Because I know we usually make picks, right? But
that's right. Yeah,
I literally didn't look at anything.
What's the scoreboard? Does the producer have our scoreboard? Do we know? We've been making 3 picks a week, and I don't really know.
I think he just said we're all at 5 points. I don't know how you get a point. I don't know what a point means, but we're all at 5.
We're all at 5, huh?
Good job, guys.
All right, so it's up there. There's a game Friday.
My screen is scrambled, so I can't really see it.
All right, so Friday there's Sassuolo Torino.
Okay.
Let's see. Saturday we got Atalanta and Samp. Genoa versus Inter, Lazio versus Bologna. Sunday, we got Cagliari versus Crotone, Benevento versus Napoli. That should be high scoring. Parma versus Spezia, Fiorentina versus Udinese, which I could see Udinese winning, and I hate them. And Juventus versus Verona.
Ooh, first impressions, not a lot of tremendous games. Oh, maybe that Rome game.
Yeah, Monday, Rome versus Milan.
Those games are all those games don't get me excited really, other than the Monday game. They're all kind of boring. And I don't know, do you guys want to pick 3?
Yeah, let's pick our 3, man. We'll each nominate one since no one prepped.
All right, I'm gonna pick Sassuolo 3-1 over Torino.
Okay, I will pick Sassuolo 5-2 over Torino.
I'm gonna say Sassuolo 3-0.
Okay.
They don't play defense. They're going to let up a goal, but okay. I'm going to nominate Juventus versus Hellas Verona, and I'm going to say tie 2-2.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 2-1 Juventus.
You're really trying to get Pirlo fired, huh?
I think I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say 2-0 Juventus.
Okay. I'm not trying to influence you on the next one, Frank, but you want to pick this Milan game?
Absolutely. So, what is it? Milan, Rome, right?
Yeah.
I think it's actually going to be a little bit of a fall back game after the big derby that Milan just beat Inter. I think, and Rome coming off the win, I think there's a potential here for Milan to drop some points. So I'm thinking I'm going to say 2-2 tie here. And if Milan comes out and wins again, then they're really going to make themselves and me a much bigger believer. But I'm going to say a 2-2 tie here.
I'm going to say 3-2 Milan. I don't know. I don't really like Rome that much. I don't know. They have players, but I don't know. I like Milan better, so I'm going to go 3-2.
I like Milan better too. I just think psychologically, I'm curious to see how they show up here, right? Being first,
but it's also tough because, if Ibra doesn't play, then it's a whole different situation. So
true.
I'm gonna say 2-1 Milan.
Would you like to add any reason why?
No, not really. I think that I don't think Roma is as good as Milan, and I think.
Neither do I. That was the point. Was to actually pick what you basically.
Well, I think Milan's going to stay hot.
I'm just busting your chops. All right, what's next? What are we doing?
That's it. Close it out. We're running along.
All right, guys, our longest episode yet. You're welcome, people. 20 bonus minutes, no extra charge.
Yes, subscribe, follow on Twitter, all that stuff.
Write a comment.
If you're still watching, write a comment.
Oh, yeah. Ask questions. We'll answer questions for the next podcast, whatever.
Tell us what you disagree with. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that's it. Tifosi time. Check in back next Monday and see all the different predictions we got wrong.
Yeah, take it easy.
Bye.